What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another interview with a client of EnterpriseClients.com. We are here today with Mr. Adam Rehm of Rehm Copy. Adam, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Happy to have you. So we'll hop right into this. Can you tell us a little bit about your agency, what you do? Just give us kind of a brief overview of who you are.
Yeah, so obviously marketing agency. We primarily work with direct-to-consumer brands. Recently, a few more like B2B companies doing conversion retention systems, so landing pages, email and SMS marketing, stuff like that.
Cool. All that good stuff. Everybody needs a little bit of email and SMS, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Cool. So the thing that everybody wants to know, we'll get to the hook or the meat of it real quickly here. Can you tell us a little bit about the growth that you've experienced, specifically where you were before joining the program and where you're at now?
Yeah, so before I was kind of stagnating in like the 40 to 50K a month range. And yeah, this last month in October, we did just shy of 90K.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that growth. I like that quick little
Appreciate
double
it.
up. Now you're on that $1 million a year run rate, man. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about, I know at least when we were DMing back and forth, we were talking a little bit about some of the changes that you've had in your sales process, the way you go about getting clients, but can you talk to us a little bit about what your process for getting clients looked like before we started working together?
Yeah, so ads was kind of the main acquisition channel, but it was very on and off, and I definitely like had some guidance and I knew what I was doing, but it wasn't I just wasn't doing a good enough job with it. And sales was also a bottleneck for me. So again, like I don't think I was terrible, but I definitely wasn't nearly good enough to number one close enterprise clients, and number two just like do it at even a small level of scale. So I think that was a big bottleneck as well. And yeah, it was just like everything was rocky all the time. Like nothing was ever really consistent. Nothing was ever really like reliable. So yeah, that's the best way I'd say to define it.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess how has that changed since you've joined the program? Like, what would you say some of the biggest changes in your process have
Yeah.
been since we started working together?
Yeah. So I mean, with the whole like client acquisition side of things, obviously the big change was kind of flipping everything that we do so that not only can we sign enterprise clients, but also service them. So a big piece of it was messaging. And so like one thing that you do in your ads or that you teach is kind of like the problem explanation, like the problem statement, explanation, solution, outcome. That framework was really good for me and has led to like some of our best ads. So like that side of things has been great. And then obviously on the sales side, like I was telling you the other day, it's just like having that process and having you review the calls was huge for me, and it will continue to be huge for me. And that's led to like just way better conversations on the front end, and then also like the strategy decks and just having like an actual, I guess, like helpful sales process is probably the way to put it. That's been huge for like actually getting deals across the finish line, because beforehand I had a lot of deals that were like I knew we could help them and I knew there's potential, but they just weren't really closing. And having your whole like strategy system and strategy call and like kind of using that framework just completely erased that as a bottleneck.
Interesting. When you said something I think is important there. You said like a helpful sales process. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so by helpful sales process, I kind of just mean like I don't personally like being like the salesy type. So I'll ask you these questions when we're doing the call reviews, and you're like, well, you don't have to be salesy. Like you can just ask this in this way, and it's not salesy. So like when I say helpful sales process, I mean like a sales process that's actually helpful to the
Mm,
prospect or the client, so that they can make the smart decision, which whether that's you or not, that's good for
yeah.
me. But
Yeah, so it's a lot more putting the emphasis on how can you help them to achieve whatever their goal, their outcome, their desired outcome is, as opposed to sign this contract or I will grant Cardone objection handle you
yeah,
until you feel bad enough to sign the contract and then charge me back after we get off the phone.
yeah, we're trying to avoid that at all costs. But yeah, so
Yeah.
the one thing you say a lot is like trying to understand their problems better than they do.
Mm,
So I think like that framework as well, or just like that mindset has helped me a lot.
yeah, that makes a ton of sense, man. On the strategy decks, what do you think's been helpful about the strategy deck side of things?
It's just a no-brainer. So like at the end of every call, and like I was talking about this recently, but it's like people will get to the end of this first call with us, and they're almost always not ready to move forward right away. So the strategy deck is just a very easy like pitch to get them on that second call, and it's like genuinely helpful to them. So like they should say yes, and they do. And I think like probably 95 to 100% of the time they've said yes to that call. Then we get on that call and we crush it on the strategy deck using the template that you give. And yeah, they love it. It shows them like exactly what we're going to be doing. And yeah, it again, like I said before, it kind of erased that as a bottleneck in my sales process, which made a huge impact, especially this last month.
Yeah. That makes sense, man. Do you find that you are consistently, like, whenever somebody, especially if you're booking, calls through ads, do you find that you're consistently having to compete against other agencies? Are they going, hey, we're shopping around, we're talking to multiple different groups? Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah, and it was way bigger of a problem back like when I first got into the program because like we had a lot of conversations about this, bro. It was just like, well, we're price shopping it around and like they end up going with a cheaper option or whatever the case was. It's always something close to that. And so you and I had some one-on-one conversations about the offer and how to like get around that.
Hmm.
And that's made a massive impact just on our ability to not only like sign more deals, but get better deals and
Yeah.
more favorable deals. So yeah, that's been huge. And it's definitely still a thing, right? Like people are still like shopping around per se. But with the way we've tweaked the offer and also the messaging around the offer, the stuff you showed me, it's completely switched like the
Yeah.
just the sales process.
Do you find that, because like buyers in this day and age are always going to review their options, right? The idea of go through an ad, book a one call close, never talk to anybody else is it's not going to happen for the most
Yeah.
part. And so it makes sense that you would have lots of groups who are looking at multiple options. Do you find that now you have people who, even though you're more expensive maybe than some of your competition, still choose to go with you and pay you more money than paying somebody else less?
Yeah, it's funny because I used to be on the wrong end of that, whereas like you were the cheaper option, and then they'd end up going with the premium version instead. That happened
Yeah.
multiple times. And now, like especially this last month, there was a few times where they're like, "Yeah, we're looking at a couple people for this, but you're actually more expensive, but we want the quality option, and we are the quality option." So they ended up closing,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's been a nice change.
Yeah, that's awesome. A lot of people don't believe that. A lot of people think that if I'm cheaper, they're going to pick me. I found it to be the opposite. I found that if I'm cheaper, they usually go with somebody who they think is better based on their perceived value.
Yeah, and just going back to the workshop, like that was one of the first limiting beliefs, if you want to call it that you broke in me for sure. So yeah, ended up being true.
Yeah. So, well, good, man. I'm glad you've gotten to experience that for sure. So, I guess from a more like, I guess, program perspective, right? There's lots of different agency programs out there, lots of different, you want to call them consultants or coaches or whatever people call them these days. There's lots of different stuff out there, and I know that you've done a couple, you've joined different things. I guess what made you want to join this program specifically and work with us specifically, when there are so many that, from maybe an outside perspective, all kind of look the same until you get into them.
Yeah, I would say the big thing, and like I've told other people this too, is just that you've done or like you did exactly what I wanted to do or what I want to do. So I thought getting access to you at the price of the program is just like a steal. It's like it's almost like I was on the fence originally, but like looking back on it, it was a no brainer because like that money's going to sit in the bank account anyways, right? So it's like I getting access to you, especially one on one. Like those first 3 months were huge. I think we had like like two one-on-one calls a month or something like that.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was more than enough. And yeah, it's just having I just say like having you in my corner for like even the small decisions on like, hey, how should I handle this conversation or like how should I approach this team thing that's happening? Like because you've been through all that. That's just super. It's worth a lot more than you know the program price.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is I need to charge more. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah, yeah. There we go. Take your own advice.
Something like that. Okay, cool. So based on what you've gotten out of the program so far, based on what you've done over the last few months that we've worked together, where do you see yourself maybe a year from now, November of 2026?
Yeah, I would say like revenue wise, I want to get I want to get to the point where we're at $1 million a month agency. So in the next year, as close as we can get to that as possible, the better. I want to definitely crack a 250,000 a month by then for sure. And yeah, in terms of team, like I just like right now I'm really focused on just getting really good talent on the team. So I think having a much more a much a very well built out squad so that I'm not even close to being in fulfillment at that point. That's another one of the big things. And again, like I wouldn't step out of fulfillment unless I knew that the team was going to be good enough to do it. So
Sure.
like that's the reason that I'm putting a lot of emphasis on like talent right now, and then just like attracting the right talent. So that's kind of like the main, I guess, like stuff that I see in the next year.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to be writing emails forever.
Well, writing emails is fun, but maybe not forever.
I won't send this to your clients. Don't worry. Nice. Okay, cool, man. Well, for anybody out there who is an agency owner and they know they want to, maybe they've seen some of our stuff, they know they want to charge more, they know they want to go after bigger, better enterprise clients, but they're nervous to make that transition because, it's new, it's scary, right? What would your advice to them be?
Yeah, so I would say if you're on the fence, I mean, like, I always just like to like weigh out the pros and cons. It's like the con is that you drop the money and it's like you learn enough to like no matter what you're gonna ROI, right? So I just looked at it as like the money's gonna sit in the bank account regardless. Why would I not pay to learn from you one on one directly? I think it's a ridiculous thing not to invest in. So and also to add in, because like the one thing that pushed me over the fence when I was originally about to jump in was that like the growth needs to happen regardless, and the skills that I need to learn to get there are going to happen regardless. So why would I not pay you to speed up that process? That was just like that was like the nail in the coffin to me, where I was like, why would I not do this?
Oh, that makes sense. I tend to agree with you. I think very much the same way about just investing in information myself, whatever else. I tend to only listen to people that I pay. It usually works out better for me. Um,
You know,
and that makes sense. And I appreciate the kind words. What would you say specifically around the transition to going after bigger clients from, because a lot of people they're very comfortable in their 3K a month, 4K. It's the idea of saying, I'm going to abandon what's been working and try something different. What would your advice to someone who wants to make that transition but's a little bit nervous about making it? What would your advice to them be?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing that you've told me that, and like really hammered into me was that like it's either you're going to scale and it's not going to work, because you'll scale and then it'll just be broken, or you can scale the right way. And that was the big like unlock for me mentally is if I scale it this way, it's gonna suck. If I scale it your way, like it's gonna work out. So that's the biggest thing for me is like why would you not fix it now?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Well, cool. Any other words of wisdom or advice you'd want to leave the viewers with?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the main thing is just like the whole like thing of letting fear hold you back was a big thing for me. So
Mm.
just like trusting you as a mentor was big, from like the mindset stuff, but also just like the tactics and the principles and the sales stuff, everything like that. So having you as a mentor to like remove that from me, like I just think that's big. So I think it's a very valuable thing to have.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Very kind of you to say. I'm glad it's been helpful. Well, thanks again, man. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate the interview. If anybody else has out there and is curious more about what we do, feel free to go to enterpriseclients.com/workshop. We do them every 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when you see this. Maybe we won't do them. You might need to hurry up and go to it. Go to it soon. So, thanks again, Adam. Appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Peace.